All right, so areas of similar polygons. So here we go. If two polygons are similar, right? Let's go up here for a minute. We learned in 7.2 that if two polygons are similar, their perimeters are proportional to the scale factor between them, right? So for example, if there is a scale factor of 3 to 2, the perimeters have a ratio of 3 to 2. Okay, what about areas then? Well, if two polygons are similar, their areas are proportional to the square of the scale factor between them. Okay, so whatever the scale factor is, if the scale factor is 3 to 3/4, 3 to 4, then their areas are proportional to 3 squared over 4 squared. Okay, so look at this. For each pair of similar figures, find the area of the figure to the right. So we want to find the area of this one. Okay? Well, what's the scale factor? It's 8 to 5, right? Okay, so that's the scale factor. But now when I want to compare the areas, I take the scale factor and I square top and bottom. So I say 8 squared over 5 squared is equal to the area of this one over the area of this one. Okay? So the ratio of the areas is the same as the square of the scale factor. And then this is 64 over 25 is equal to 32 over x. Okay? Cross multiply, 64x is equal to 32 times 25, which is 800. Now what? Divide by 64, so x is 12.5. Okay? All right. Okay, next one. All right. Scale factor, 6 to 8. Squared is equal to the area over this. Okay, one area over the other area. So square, okay. So now this is 36 over 64 is equal to 13.5 over x. Okay, and I really want to show you guys how to do this in one shot. So here's what I want you to do. This is the unknown, okay, equal to fraction bar. Now, take the diagonal where they're both numbers, multiply them. Which number have we not used yet? 36. Put it down here. Okay, that's a quick way of doing it in one step rather than 2 steps. All right, can somebody put that in the calculator? Tell me what you get. 24. Okay, so the area is, how would you say what the area is? 24 feet squared. Okay, do we expect for the area to be bigger for this one? Yes, because it's a bigger triangle. Not too bad, right?
Wait, so x is the area?
Huh? It's pretty easy, I know. I know. It's like it doesn't even belong in this class.
Does it get harder?
This is, yeah, no, it doesn't. This lesson doesn't get harder. It's really easy.
Oh.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, but that, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I thought that didn't come up. Okay, go ahead.
The x is the area.
We want to use the given areas to find the scale factor this time of the figure on the left to the figure on the right, then solve for x. Okay? So this to this, right? That would have been the scale factor, but it would be x squared over 6 squared is equal to one area over the other area. Okay? Now, let's do what I just showed you guys. This is the unknown. X squared is equal to, fraction bar, 36 times 50 over what?
72.
Good. 72. When you put that in your calculator, 36 times 50 over 72, you get x squared is equal to 25. Please be careful, right? I can already see when you're rushing on the test, you missed that that's an x squared. So now x is equal to 5. Okay, so what's the scale factor? Yep. Okay, so here, 40 squared over x squared is equal to 400 over 64. Okay, so x squared is equal to fraction bar 40. Well, 40 squared is 6. I'll just leave it like this. 40 squared times 64 over 400. All right, I see you guys clicking away. So how much is x squared? X squared is 256, I think. 256. And what's the square root of 256? 16. So x is 16. The scale factor is 40 to 16, which we have to reduce 5 to 2 by 8. 4, but then you have to do it again by 2. If you divide by 4, yeah. Okay? Yeah.
Times 64.
Over 400, not 40. Maybe just pressed over 40. Yeah. Okay. Next, the quadratic formula. Okay. So, we've been doing a little bit of factoring, right? And of course, you guys know you can factor an equation and then set it equal to 0 and solve. When there is a quadratic equation, x squared, that you cannot factor, you can still solve it using the quadratic formula. And as I said last time, I know, we've all heard the song and we've been singing the song happily, but where this came from is I've been seeing a few of you guys using this on the test, but I think there was only one time that it was used correctly. So if we're going to use it, let's do it correctly, yeah? Okay, so here we go. Huh?
No, I mean, yeah, we have.
Wait, what is?
But it's used differently, not exactly like this.
Yeah. When you have a quadratic equation that looks like this, the coefficients are given labels A, B, and C. So A is the coefficient of the x squared term. B is the coefficient of the x. C is the one that's a constant. It has no variable. Okay? And the solution is this. So it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, right? And that solves equations which can't be factored. By the way, you can also use this for equations that can be factored. Like you can use this for any quadratic formula, quadratic equation. Okay, so let's do each of these. Okay, it's important to put the equation in standard form first. Standard form means the x squared term is first, then the x term, then the constant term, okay? All right, so now, let's see what the coefficients are. What's the coefficient of the x squared? 1. So a is 1. B is 7. C is 6. And it's important that we take the sign along with it. So for example, if this was minus 7, it would have been negative 7 for B. So now, let's do this. We say x equals, okay, plus or minus B, which is 7. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I haven't had my coffee yet. Okay. All right. Negative B, negative 7, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 7 squared, minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 6, all over 2 times 1. Now we do this. Negative 7 plus or minus the square root 49 minus 24 over 2. You guys with me so far? Next, x equals negative 7 plus or minus the square root. How much is 49 minus 24? 25. All over 2. Okay, this is equal to negative 7 plus or minus, what's the square root of 5 over 2. In certain cases, it's a perfect square, so the square root goes away, right? Is it possible for us to simplify this further? It actually is. What this plus or minus means is this. That means there are two solutions now. One, x is negative 7 plus 5 over 2. One, x is negative 7 minus 5 over 2. And so now, let's simplify this one. Negative 7 plus 5? Negative 2 over 2? Negative 1. And here? Negative 12 over 2, negative 6. So x is negative 1, negative 6. So this one, we actually got integer values, no roots, okay? Okay. Now, I'm going to show you something else about this one. This particular equation, could we have factored this?
Yeah.
Let's see.
No, we cannot do something. It's not minus 6.
Are there two numbers that add,
6 and 1.
multiply to 6 and add to 7, plus 6 plus 1? So that does factor.
And then x would equal negative 1 and negative 6.
Right, which means when I solve it, x equals negative 6, x equals negative 1. You see how for ones that can factor, right, you can still use the quadratic formula, it comes out the same. Okay, now let's do the other one. Is the next one in
No.
standard form?
Minus 12.
No. So we have to move everything to the same side, set it equal to 0. T squared plus 11t minus 12. Okay, what's A?
1.
B is 11, and C is negative 12. Okay, so x equals fraction negative b is negative 11 plus or minus the square root. B squared, 11 squared is 121 minus 4 times A is 1 times C is negative 12 all over 2 times 1. So this is equal to negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 121. And how much does that give you? Positive 48. All over 2. Negative 11 plus or minus the square root of 169 over 2. And this will be, oh look, this one simplifies as well. 13 over 2. So, this is equal to negative 11 plus 13 over 2, negative 11 minus 13 over 2. So negative 1 and negative, oh, that's positive 1, sorry. And negative 12, right? Okay. All right, let's do the next one. So A, B, C are 1, 10, and 12, right? So x is negative 10, right? Plus or minus the square root of 100 minus 4 times 1 times 12 all over what? Yes. Okay, so this is negative 10. What do we get in the square root? 100 minus 48. How much is that? 52. All over 2. Okay, so the 52 we have to simplify. And you will do it the same way as we've always done it. Right? 2 and 26, 2 and 13. So this is going to be negative 10 plus or minus 2 root 13 all over 2. Uh-oh. This needs to be reduced now. All right, the 2 root 13 is fine as far as the root is concerned. However, let's look at how many terms there are. I have one term, negative 10, another term, 2 root 13, another term is 2. So you have to look at all 3 of these numbers outside the root. Outside the root. And if all 3 of those numbers can be divided by the same number, then you must. It's an all or nothing deal. If 2 numbers can be divided by 2, but the third one can't, you can't touch it. Okay? So, the 10, the 2, and this 2 can all be divided by 2. So this becomes negative 5 plus or minus root 13 over 1. But do we write the over 1? No. So I say x equals negative 5 plus or minus root 13. Okay? And that's an acceptable way to leave your answer. In reality, we have 2 answers. Okay? Yeah, in reality, I have negative 5 plus root 13, negative 5 minus root 13. Okay? All right. So take a few minutes right now and do D for me. Simplify it all the way. All right? On your mark, get set, go. Okay, so we changed this to minus 11, so it comes out correctly. So x equals negative 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 4 times 3 times negative 11 all over 6, correct? So this is going to be negative 5 plus or minus the square root of, what did we get in the square root? 157 all over 6. Did 157 simplify? No. It does not simplify, so you just leave it like that. Okay, so that's the answer. Now, let's go ahead and you have your calculators already, but let's go ahead and put those in the calculator. Okay, so, right, so for each of them, right, okay, so here's what I want to tell you guys. I want to do this one first. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So we're going to do negative 5, right, in parentheses, plus the square root of 157, right, outside the parentheses, divided by 2. Was it 2 or 6? 6. Okay? Okay, so that's what we get, right? Now, okay, now to do the minus version, here's what you're going to do. Don't type it in again. Press the up arrow once, twice. Highlight that. Press enter. You see how it brings it back for you? Now you can just go in there with the left arrow button and just edit, make this a minus, and you can do it like that. Okay? We do not recreate the wheel.